Hi, my name is Aksa and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will create a Wikipedia search application. In this application, we will use drag approach, and secondly, we will use DeepSeek models so that you have the handy practice of DeepSeek models by using Grok open source platform that provide us to use any kind of LLM model by using a single platform. So we don't need to rush towards the Llama 2 or Llama 3 or Meta. We can just go to the Grok open source platform and we can get any type of model that we want to work on it. I will give you the brief introduction related to the Grok also so that you have the idea that how you can use Grok in your particular specific case or specific project. So let's first see the demo that what is the final product of this project. So we will have the idea that what we are doing currently and what is the procedure of completing that particular project. So let's start. Here is the end product of your project where we will enter article name, or we can just write politics, or what we can do, we can go here and copy that particular URL and give it to this input. And as you see that if I write the topic name and I just enter it, the content loaded and indexed. What does it mean? I will tell you this later, but yeah, this added. And if I ask to define politics, it is generating answer. This answer is generated through the DeepSeek model, DeepSeek reasoning model. So reasoning model first think about it and then give us the answer. So here's the thinking part, and here's the proper answer that DeepSeek model give us by after implementing the RAG approach, or mixture of the RAG approach of DeepSeek model. So yeah, this is what we want to create. So now let's move towards the code. But before the code, we need to understand Grok Cloud. If you write Grok here, you will have this, and if you click on it, you have to go to the dev console. On that dev console, you have to log in and you have to create your account. And as you create your account, you will have this screen. So what you need to do, you just need to go to the API key and create API. That's it. And submit it and copy that particular API key and save it into the .env file. And of course, you know that what is .env file. .env file is a file that we have for the particular Grok model, or for the particular platform that we want to use, right? So you need to take this. Afterwards, what you need to do, when you're done with the API key, here is the documentation. Or before the documentation, I am going to give you idea that what are the models actually available in the Grok platform. Here is the list of the model that you can see. We have DeepSeek R1, Distilled Queen, we have Distilled Llama 70 billion, we have Llama 3 8 billion, 70 billion, 3 billion, 90 billion. So we can use this library, or we can use this model. We have Whisper model also here, or we have Mistral. So we can use variety of model through this one particular platform. So yeah, that's how you can use any kind of model. The way of using this is similar the way we were using previously. We will use LangChain. LangChain is a library or a platform that helps us to work with the LLM applications or work with the LLMs directly. So for using the Grok, we will have this. You can say LangChain Grok library also. This library provides us the way that how we can use Grok, or how we can integrate Grok into our uh, project. So I will give you the idea related to that also. If you go into the LangChain Grok library or LangChain documentation, you will have the idea that what is Jet Grok, LangChain Grok package, and it is providing these kind of supports and how to implement it. This is the way that you can implement it. These are the features that you can write also. You can directly use this as a Llama model or as an LLM model, or you can use as a model that goes into the chain, and after the particular uh, thing you have done, and you calling the LLM model. So yeah, you can do this also. You can also use it with the chat prompt. After that, I was saying that you first go to the prompt and then you are LLM. So you are actually doing the chaining here. So you can implement that in this way. So yeah, that's all about the Grok. Now let's move towards the actual code, that what is the RAG application and how we are using the RAG application. Basically, the RAG application is retrieval augmented generation, and retrieval augmented generation is something like that. The First, you are providing some context and you are getting answers from that particular context. So that is the RAG application is all about. For example, QA based documents. You have PDF file and you want to answer or you want to question something from that particular PDF file. So you will use RAG application. You have Wikipedia page or you have any other website page or you have any other document page, local or you can say or a global or on a web. So what you can do, you have that particular content and you can ask any question from that particular content. If you want to use such specific type of thing or a specific type of implementation towards any project, we will use RAG application. RAG application helps us to store the particular document or particular PDF or a particular website to some vector database, and then we can retrieve that particular answer for the query from that context. So yeah, this is the whole idea behind the RAG application or the RAG. um, Currently we have Wikipedia page. So what we are doing, we have the Wikipedia page, we are loading that particular Wikipedia page, and we are saving that particular Wikipedia page into the vector database, right? And what we are doing, we are just asking the question, what is happening? The chain is actually creating a prompt, and that prompt is actually going into the LLM. The prompt actually contains the context that is retrieved from that particular database or vector database, and that context and that question is go into the prompt, and that prompt is go into the LLM, and that LLM generated a predefined answer and give us the result back. So this is the whole idea behind that. I know you are confused in this, but let's work on it and you will understand it eventually, right? So we will start importing some important libraries. In this important libraries, you know that we have LangChain community, we have LangChain, we will use LangChain more because LangChain provides us a more specific and more easiest way to implement other things easily. So we will use LangChain throughout. We will use LangChain community, LangChain core, or LangChain Olama. We will use that particular things, right? So first we define the LLM. I told you that we will use Grok. For that, in Grok we are using Chat Grok because we are using a chat model, so we need a chat grok. If you are not using chat model, you can directly use a grok also. You don't need to use chat grok. In that chat grok, we are passing DeepSeek R1 Distill Queen 32B. You can pass any other model that you want to work on. You can pass that, and we are passing temperature zero. Temperature zero here is mean that we are not allowing LLM to produce any answer by itself. We want that the answer is purely based on the context or the content that we are providing to it. That's the reason. So we are actually stopping LLM to do any randomness, any kind of random theory or any kind of random approach. You don't need to take it. We are saying that you need to give us the answer based on the content that we are providing to you. The content, what is the content? The content is the Wikipedia page that we are giving to you, right? So you need to give us the answer on that particular content. If I make it more simpler, so it means that we are providing a PDF to you, and you have to answer from that PDF only. You cannot generate answer by yourself. So we are actually stopping it to generate answer by itself. We are limiting it that you have to generate answer in the content video that we are providing to you, right? So this is the whole scenario behind this temperature. We are actually writing a template, and you know that the template is something that we are actually instruct the LLM that what you need to do. So you can see that in that template we are actually providing the context and we are providing the question. The context is the thing that we have the Wikipedia page, and that page is actually a context, and the question that we are providing, that you have to search that question into that context. So we are providing these two things into the prompt. So if we are providing input, so we have to use prompt template. So why we need to use prompt template? Prompt templates allows us to take input and pass it into the prompt. Okay, so we can use that. So that is done by the prompt template. So we will use prompt template also. Here we have a prompt template. So we will use prompt template also. Then we need a embedding. Embedding is something that you know that we are using vector database, right? And vector database is something that converts the word into the vector. that vector is stored into the vector data. So the process that we are doing, that converting our words into a vector, that vectors are actually called as a embedding, that we are embed our data. So we can say vector embedding or we can say vector data. We can use these two terms together. So yeah, what we are doing, we are taking our text, and that text convert into vector, and that vector is created by through some embedding models. So we are defining that particular embedding model. That can be Hugging Face embedding model, it can be OpenAI embedding model, it can be any other embedding model that you know. You can use that. But currently we are using Olama embedding, and Olama embedding is actually coming from the LangChain Olama. So you can use that. I'm using it so that you have the idea that how we can use Olama not as a model but also as an embedding. If you don't know that how we can use Olama as a model, you can see the previous video in which we I gave the idea that how you can use Olama model efficiently. So yeah, you can use that. But Olama embedding, we can also use that. So here we are using embedding. Uh, the way is similar, that for the model we need to pull the model rate from the Olama. For the embedding, we also need to write pull. So what you need to do, you just need to write Olama pull, that's the command, and you need to write the embedding model name here. That's it. It will pull the embedding model and you can use it, right? I am using it so that you have the idea that you cannot use Olama just for the model, you can use it for the embeddings model also. And these embeddings are actually done by some models. So we can say that these are the models of embedding models. So if you ever hear embedding models, you will understand that what they are doing, they are converting the text into the vector. So this is the whole about the embedding, right? Afterwards, we have the function. What we are doing, we have a function of load Wikipedia. In this function, what we will see or what we will do, you know that we are actually providing the title, or we are actually providing the URL. That particular title or that particular URL will be load some, or we will call, right? So what we are doing, we are passing here Wikipedia loader. This Wikipedia loader is coming from the Langchain community document loader. That document loader can be anything. It can be PDF loader, it can be CSV loader, it can be uh, RZIF loader, it can be any search tool. You can use any, and you can have an idea of it through the Langchain documentation. Langchain documentation is a lot. You can go there and you can see that how many document loaders you can actually use. So here we are using Wikipedia loader, so that Wikipedia loader is actually what it is actually doing. It is actually getting that particular title or particular path and loading that particular content that we are providing, or we are actually giving the name of that particular content. So it is loading that part and it is saving towards it, right? But before this, I say here that we are providing the article name or we are providing the URL. So we are providing two things, right? So in these two things, we have to do some work so that Wikipedia knows that actual the URL is coming towards me, or the article name is coming towards me, right? So it needs to be defined. For that particular define, we are using here if or else. If web path or the input is starting with HTTPS, so it needs to split it and pass the last word. What does it mean? It means, let's suppose here we have Wikipedia. It's a start with HTTPS, and what I'm saying that you have to split it through this bracket, right? When it is splitting it, so this is the last thing, or this is the last topic that we will get, right? So I'm saying here that you need to split it, and then you have to take the minus one, the last one from that URL. So we will have the search topic here. And if you don't have any kind of URL, you just need to take that name of that URL, or you need to take that article name and pass it into the Wikipedia directory. So we are saying here. Secondly, we are passing this second argument, load max document. It is for that in Wikipedia we have a multiple document, so we have a lot of content on that particular topic, right? So we are limiting it. So you don't need to load all the topic. You just need to load the one part of it. That's it. But you can add more, like 2, 3, 10. It's up to you. I'm giving here a one part only. Okay. When you load it, when you take it, you need to load that first. Okay, so that is the document that we have currently. The similar one that we have the PDF document, so we have the Wikipedia document now here. Okay, now we are using recursive character text split. Basically, you know that we have the document, and the document having a lot of content, a lot of sentences, a lot of words in that particular content, right? And we cannot pass the whole content together into the vector database. So what we are doing, we are splitting that content, or we are splitting that text, right? For that splitting the text, we are using recursive character text split. You can use other also, there are so many in the langchain documentation. You can go there and you can take a look of it, but currently we are using recursive character text split. So now what is happening, we have the content, we are splitting that content, and that content is going towards the embedding, and that embedding is saving into the vector database. So this is a whole scenario we are doing with the content that we are providing to it, or we are saying that you need to load, right? So we are just defining or taking this recursive character split, and we are passing the document that we load here into that split, and that split actually gives us the idea that how many document it actually splitted it, and we will see that into the code when we run this code. So we will see that into the console that how many document it loaded, right? So yeah, that's it, and the all splits part we will return. So in this particular function, what is happening? It is taking the article name or the topic name. It is loading that particular topic from the Wikipedia search, and then splitting it into multiple chunks. Right. So this is how we are using. The chunks mean that if you have the one sentence is divided into one, two, three chunks. So these are the chunks, right? So we are splitting that into particular chunks. So we are defining here also the chunk size, right? 1,000 chunk size. So we are defining it that you can actually split the data set into 1,000 chunks. So it is splitting that, right? And this is all about this particular function. Second, we are storing the Wikipedia. As I said, that we have the data, uh, sorry, we have the content from the Wikipedia, and we are splitting it. Now what we need to do, we have to do embedding on it, and then embedding we have to save into the vector database. Vector database can be of two types. First one is keyword search vector database, and second one is dense search vector database. Dense search vector database, we also say it is as semantic search. Okay, so we can use these two types of. In keyword search, you can use Pinecone, and one more, it is Anthropic, or I don't know, I don't remember that. And the second one is uh, you can use Face or the ChromaDB for the dense vector search. So it's totally up to you that which one you want to use. I'm using here Face here. So in this Face, I am passing on my document and the embedding that I created here, right? So what it will do, it will first embed the content and then save it into the vector database. So these two actions are performing here. So we are actually storing the data of the Wikipedia into the vector database, right? So till now, what we have done, we have the content, we are saving it into the vector database, and the steps we need to take between that, we are actually doing that, splitting it into chunks, and then saving or converting into the embedding, and then we are saving into the vector database. So this is this one scenario that we have done of the RAG model. Second one is that whenever the question asked from the user, we need to go back to the database or go to the vector database and get the content of that particular question, so that we can define that this is the thing that we get from your particular defined content, right? So for this, we have here QA reader. What we are doing, we are first retrieving the database that we defined here, DB. We are retrieving that database so that we can pass that context into prompt, right? But you have the answer that we don't need to pass the whole the content, right? Because user is asking some specific question, right? So for that particular reason, we are writing here get relevant documents, right? That that particular function is doing the same scenario that we actually defined here, that don't need to get all the content or don't need to pass all the content to the prompt. You just need to pass the specific content regarding that particular question to the prompt. So we are using get relevant documents here. And afterwards we are creating prompt template we are passing input variables here, and in that input variables we are passing template also, the template we are defining here, right? So we are passing these two things, and we are creating a chain here. Chain, I actually defined that particular chain here. If you don't know that, I will write down the link in the description so you can see that what is this chain is actually, so you can see that. And this we defining first that you will have the two inputs. You need to pass these two input into the prompt, and that prompt you have to pass into the LLM. So this is the sequence we are creating through the chain. Okay, and then afterwards we are invoking the chain, and we are saying that you need to take the document, that relevant document, that particular questions is asked, and you need to pass the question also, and we are getting the result. So this is the whole about the RAG. If I summarize it, so what we are doing, we have the Wikipedia content, we are loading that, and then we are splitting it into a chunks, and then we are saving or we are converting it into an embedding, and that embedding is saved into the vector database. Afterwards, when the question is asked, we are getting the particular content related to that related to that question from the document, and we are passing that document into the prompt, and that prompt is passing into the LLM, and LLM is generating the answer. So this is the whole scenario that we actually worked, right? So yeah, that's all about the RAG application or the things that we have done. Now let's move towards the uh, front end part. For that particular front end, we are using Streamlit here. So if you don't know about the Streamlit, you can go to the documentation and you can read about it. Streamlit is the library from the Python that you can create front end using this library. And afterwards, what we are doing here, we are actually having a session state here. This session state here is mean that if we are loading the data, so you have to save that particular data into the session so that you will know that you have the data into your session. What does it mean? It means that we are providing the Wikipedia article name, right? That article is loading, right? And your user is asking a specific question related to that article. Okay, user will ask one, two, three, many questions, right? So we don't need to run the article to load every time, right? We just need to load the article only one time. So what we are doing, we are loading the article only one time, and we are saving it into a session state, so that whenever the user asks the question, they don't need to go to the load Wikipedia or all that stuff. They don't need to load every time. What it will do, as soon the user asks the question, that question goes into the session, and that session gives us the answer that this is the particular session, and you can take it. You don't need to load the content every time that the user asking the question, right? So that's mean it. So we are saving the content load, and we are saving that if you have the content loaded, so you don't need to load the content again. If you don't have the content loaded in the session, you have to load the content first. So this is the statement that we are providing to it. Again, we are taking the URL or the text from the user, and we are loading it. If the content loader is false, right? If it is a false, then it will turn into a true. Otherwise, it will go into the false statement, and this loop it will not run. Okay. Then we are saying, okay, so this will run, and when it is saying that the session have no any content loaded, so what it will do, it will first spin, like we were saying that we have the spinner, and what it will go, it will to load the Wikipedia content just from this particular function, and then storing the Wikipedia to the DB, and that DB is also saving into the session state, and the content loading is actually true. So now, if the user asks the question 10th time, so our data will not be loaded 10th time. It will load only one time, right? Then we are asking that, okay, if the content is loaded, ask the question from the user. If the question is there, so what you need to do, you need to generate an answer, and the generating answer we are using QA reader function. So this function is actually generating the answer, right? And as soon we have the answer, this answer will be right here. Okay. So you, as you see here, that we have the answer here, we have the answer here. So this is the answer that is generated from the LLM or from the DeepSeek model. So that's how we actually created the code. So now let's see that how we can run this code. First I need to clear it. What you need to do, so first you need to create a virtual environment. Python minus mvenv. You can create a virtual environment, and after creating the virtual environment, you need to activate the virtual environment first. Script activate from this command, and as soon as you activate your virtual environment, what you need to do indeed, you need to install the requirement. So what, for that particular requirement, I have right here requirements.txt. So this particular requirement you have to load first in order to run this project. So I write here pip install -r requirements.txt, right? You need to enter it, and all the requirements for to run this particular project will be installed. Afterwards, what you need to do when you done with all the installments, you need to write streamlit run main.py, because our streamlit is actually written in this main.py. So we need to write that particular file name that we have the streamlit in it. As soon as you run it, you will have this front end from your side. So that's how you can create end-to-end Wikipedia search chatbot. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, so do subscribe, do like, and give me the comment. If you have any kind of problem, you can ask into the comment, and I will try to answer that. And do try it, and do let me know your feedback.